Well, Denise, the parents got a number of tips about letting their kids use the internet. For example...
You all right? I learned it by watching...
Your child just logged on to Roblox. You don't think anything of it. It's a game and platform with millions of players. Most of the players are kids around the same age as your child. They play almost every day, and you're glad to see your kid having fun and playing silly games like steal a brain rot. It seems innocent enough until one day. After playing Roblox for a couple hours, your kid gets off and they're acting not like their usual self. They aren't happy. They have this look in their eyes, and they're looking at you with hate and anger. You aren't sure what to think about it, but maybe they just lost a game or are just having a bad day, so you pay it no mind. You also have a 2-month-old baby that you have to take care of. Most of your focus has to go to them, as they need a lot more care than your 10-year-old. But today, you go to put both of them to bed, and it's time you go to bed as well. It's late. Gotta go to work in the morning. It's the late hours of the night. You wake up to what sounds like your baby crying. Nothing out of the ordinary. They're probably just hungry or something. So you start to get out of bed. But as you go to take the blanket off of you, you feel something. It's wet and has an odd smell. It's something familiar, but you really aren't sure what it is. You go to turn the lights on and your sheets are covered in it. It's aerosol spray, a spray used for many things. Cleaning, hairspray, air fresheners, food. But why is it all over your bed? Something is very wrong. You don't have time to find out right now. You have to check on the baby. You run to their bedroom where they sleep and they aren't there. The baby's cries are coming from another room, the kitchen. You run to the kitchen and see a grim sight. Your 10-year-old is standing over the baby on the kitchen floor with the same look from before. They had just done something terrible. Going through Roblox's oddities and strange happenings is something that I never thought I would find myself doing. But every day I seem to come across something peculiar that raises my attention when it comes to Roblox. Whether it's abandoned games, the ongoing issues surrounding the predators that come out of Roblox, or just the horrors hidden within the platform. There's always something that seems to be happening within the confines of Roblox. And today's case is no different. But at the same time, I think that this is one of the worst things that we have seen that involves Roblox. How a platform primarily played by young children was used to attempt one of the most heinous crimes out there. And we don't have all the details of this case, due to it being ongoing. But what we do know paints a pretty sadistic and terrible image. But to understand everything that's going on, we have to go back. It's 2024. A 36-year-old woman by the name of Tara Alexis Sykes is living in Pensacola, Florida. She's a mother of 3 children with her husband James Sykes. Going through social media, you wouldn't think anything is wrong or abnormal about this family. She loves motorcycles. She posts pictures regularly with her family, going to places like Disneyland and various other places, all together, smiling, having a great time, as well as pictures with her husband James, and lots of artworks that you would have seen on Tumblr pages in the early 2010s. So, normal Facebook mom antics. She only went to high school, and what her occupation was is, well, unknown, but seemed to have enough to provide for her family. Her husband even had a YouTube channel that seemed to be run by their 3 children, in which they would post random videos that would feature the 3 of them doing makeup tutorials and random challenges that were big back then. And even a video featuring their mother Tara driving the car as they sang along to Disney music. But behind all the photos and YouTube videos, the laughing and the smiling, there was something going on in the background. It's the beginning of 2024. and a man named Kyle Myers is allowed to live in the family home of the Sykes, another Florida resident. Not family or even a friend. A person that was in love with one of their daughters. She was 14 at the time, and Kyle was 20 years old. He had sexually battered her as far back as November of 2023, and she became pregnant, and they allowed him to move in with them. Instead of calling the police and getting this person arrested, and more importantly, looking out for the well-being of their daughter, they decided to try something else. They had allowed Kyle to move in with them so they could essentially extort him for money. The Sykes wanted $10,000 cash. They decided to go to the grandmother of Kyle and use a thumb drive that contained incriminating messages between him and their daughter. And they would threaten the grandmother that they would shoot or get him sent to jail if she did not give up the $10,000. With one thing Tara was quoted as saying is that they would cut Myers open if they were not paid, with them keeping Myers locked in the house and would threaten to kill him if he would try to leave. Kyle's grandmother would eventually pay the $10,000. But it seems that one thing led to another, with the police eventually being called on the family. With police not only arresting Kyle Myers, but as well as Tara Sykes and James Sykes, with the police discovering that their daughter had become 31 weeks pregnant and dealing with malnutrition. This happening according to the daughter who was pregnant, claiming that Tara would starve her if she didn't agree to have the child. Why she would force her teen daughter to have the child is beyond me. It seems sick, but with it seeming like the daughters were most likely rehomed after this ordeal, and Kyle Myers was not actually indicted on the crime of sexual battery and sexual assault of a minor, which shows how the justice system fails kids like these over and over again. And rather, he was sentenced from the threatening messages he sent to Tara during the ordeal. Messages like, "I'm going to gut Tara and slit her throat." Tara Sykes and James Sykes were supposed to make an appearance in court in late November, but it did not go that way. The details from the rest of the story are kind of muddled, but based on reports from multiple sources, we can paint some type of picture of what happened. And this is when Roblox comes into the picture. At least one of Tara's children were in a separate home after everything, most likely their youngest, with the way they would communicate seeming to be through Roblox, which most people would see this as a way she could still be around her kid after everything that has happened. But this is not what it seemed. Tara's daughter was scared of her, afraid that she would do something to her if she did not follow her every instruction. And Tara had something for her daughter to do. It's October of 2024, and Tara has gotten on Roblox with their 10-year-old daughter and has instructed her to do one of the most heinous crimes: murder. With Tara's daughter living in a temporary home or foster home with 2 parents and a 2-month-old boy, Tara has given her daughter the following instructions through Roblox. She was instructed to cut the throats of the adults in the house while they slept with a knife, followed by dousing the sheets with aerosol spray and setting the bed on fire, and gave the daughter multiple ways of ending the life of the 2-month-old, whether it was to drown them in the bathtub, burn them with scalding water, or dropping the infant on the floor. So on October 17th, the 10-year-old would go into the bedroom of the adults in the house and would put aerosol spray on the bed, dousing it completely, as well as grabbing the infant and dropping them on the kitchen floor, causing a fracture to the skull. This was seeming like it was leading up to what would have been the most horrifying crime in Roblox history. But luckily, the adults in the house were not set ablaze and murdered due to the child not actually being able to go through what her mother instructed her to do. They were able to get the 2-month-old baby out of the house and to a hospital, where he was able to recover from his injuries, with authorities finding evidence that Tara had instructed all of this through Roblox, leading to her arrest. Luckily, no one's lives were ended that day. And what could have been a crime that could have ended way worse than it did, it makes you wonder, how did any of this get through Roblox chat? How did none of the moderation systems flag this? And this is where things get strange. Roblox itself did an internal investigation and responds to this specifically through Eric Porterfield, Senior Director of Roblox Policy Communications. He would say, "While I did not communicate on Roblox, the conversations on our platform were in policy and did not contain the alleged instructions for violence that resulted in the arrest of Tara Alexis Sykes, in which they looked at even the deleted messages between the two and found no evidence of such instructions." But on the other hand, we have multiple investigators and the adults who lived at the house who all claim to witness these messages go through Roblox, with the sheriff being quoted as saying, "It's as simple as we have 3 individuals that are telling us that they saw these messages on that particular social media platform. It's not inconceivable that they would have been deleted." So we have multiple witnesses to seeing where these messages came from, that multiple people saw these messages on Roblox. And as of right now, we have no evidence due to this being an ongoing court case. But it does make me wonder, would Roblox purposely withhold information or hide information from authorities to not have them take some type of blame? I'm not saying they did, but it makes you wonder if that's possible. Roblox's history of neglect of safety on their platform, this is definitely would be one of the most sinister cases that they are involved with. But until this case is finalized, we will not know until then. And we can only hope that something like this never happens again. I know that a case like this can be difficult to wrap our heads around. A mother who seems to have a ton of love for her family, and why she would not only have her teen daughter be forced to live with her assaulter and forced to have a child she did not want for some money, and then instructing her youngest child to do one of the most heinous crimes. She seemed to have no care for her children's safety, and did these things to benefit herself or for her sick pleasure, without actually doing any of the work, instead leaving that to her kids, probably traumatizing them forever. And we can only hope that the justice system does not fail this time like they did with charging Kyle Myers with his crimes. And we have to sit and wait with the mystery of whether or not these messages got through Roblox and where those messages are now. And maybe we will never know. Only time will tell.